Coulomb law, Coulomb's law in electrostatic or Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law in electrostatic is electrical analog of Newton's law of gravitation. In 1785, Coulomb measured the force of attraction or repulsion between the electrical charges by using a torsion balance. In bracket, a torsion balance is a scientific device to measure force. It was also used later by Cavendish to measure the very variable gravitational force between the two objects to verify Newton's law of gravitation. Now bracket closed. His observations are known as Coulomb's law in electrostatics. It states that 2 point charges attract or repel each other with a force which is directly proportional to the product of the magnitudes of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Now here there is a note. Number 1 is the force is repulsive if the charges are alike and attractive in case of unlike charges. Now number 2, further electrostatic force between two charges is central in nature. Number 3, which is very much important, it may be pointed out that the Coulomb's law in electrostatic holds for stationary charges. Number 4, further the two charges should be point in size. Consider that two charges Q1 and Q2 are present at points A and B at a distance r apart as shown in the figure. Then the force between the two charges F is proportional to Q1 Q2 and also inversely proportional to 1 by r square. This is number equation 2 and earlier number 1. Combining the equation 1 and 2, we have F is proportional to Q1 Q2 divided by r square, or capital F equals to K Q1 Q2 divided by r square. K is constant proportionality. Its value depends upon the nature of the medium in which the two charges are located and also the system of units adopted to measure capital F, Q1 small, Q2 small and r small. In SI, when the two charges are located in vacuum on air, capital K equals to 1 by 4 epsilon naught, where epsilon naught is called absolute permittivity of free space. In bracket, the absolute permittivity of air is only 1.005 times as that of free space, that is in vacuum. For this reason, absolute naught is usually taken as absolute permittivity of both free space and air. Therefore, from the equation 3, the force between the two charges located in air or vacuum is given by this equation. Absolute permittivity of free space is measured to be epsilon naught equals to 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square Newton per meter, Newton minus 1, Newton to the power minus 1, meter to the power minus 2. Therefore 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught equals to 1 by 4 pi into 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square Newton to the power minus 1, meter to the power minus 2 equals to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square Coulomb to the power minus 2. Hence the equation 4 may be written as F vacuum equals to 9 into 10 to the power 9 into Q1 Q2 divided by r square in Newton. This is the fifth equation. Self-test question. Using equation 4, show that units of epsilon naught are Coulomb square Newton to the power minus 1, meter to the power minus 2. As per the equation, F vacuum equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by r square. Epsilon naught equals to 1 by F vacuum into 4 pi Q1 Q2 divided by r square. All units to be taken in SI. Epsilon naught equals to 1 by Newton 1 by Newton, and that is n into no unit into Coulomb to power square divided by meter to the power square, or epsilon naught equals to Coulomb square Newton to power minus 1 meter to power minus 2. Now another unit of epsilon is farad per meter, that is F capital M small to power minus 1. Now problem there is related to this. What is the force between the two small charge spheres having charge of 2 into 10 to power minus 7 coulomb and 3 into 10 to power minus 7 coulomb? Place 30 centimeter in air. Solution of this: here Q1 equals to 2 into 10 to power minus 7 coulomb and Q2 equals to 3 into 10 to power minus 7 coulomb. R equals to 30 centimeter equals to 0.3 meter. In air, F equals to capital F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R square, which is equal to 9 into 10 to power minus 9 into 10 to power 9 into in bracket 2 into 10 to power minus 7 into bracket 3 into 10 to power minus 7 divided by 0.3 square, which is equals to 6 into 10 to power minus 3 Newton, and this is repulsive since the sign is positive. Now, what is the unit of charge? Inertial forces between two charges Q1 and Q2 held at a distance r apart in vacuum is given by F vacuum equals to 9 into 10 to power 9 into Q1 Q2 divided by r square. Suppose that Q1 equals to Q2 equals to Q, say, then r equals to 1 meter and F vacuum equals to 9 into 10 to power 9 Newton. Then 9 into 10 to power 9 Newton equals to 9 into 10 to power 9 into Q1 Q2 divided by 1 square, or Q square equals to 1 or Q equals to 1. Therefore, 1 coulomb is that charge which repels an equal and similar charge with a force of 9 into 10 to power 9 Newton when placed in vacuum or in bracket or air at a distance of 1 meter from it. Now note, in electrostatic CGS system, the unit of charge is known as electrostatic unit of charge, or in bracket USU of charge. It is also called stat coulomb, bracket stat coulomb. 1 coulomb equals to 3 into 10 to power 9 stat coulomb. In electromagnetic CGS system, the unit of charge is known as electromagnetic unit of charge, or in bracket electromagnetic unit of charge. 1 coulomb equals to 1 to power 10 EMU of charge. Now there is a self-test question. Prove that 1 coulomb equals to 3 into 10 to power 9 stat coulomb. Go for that, because this will help you to have a grip on the topic which you are studying. Now, relative permittivity, that is dielectric constant. When two charges are situated in some other medium in place of air, the force between the charges may be greatly affected. For example, when the two charges are placed at the same distance in water, the force between the two charges becomes about 1/80th of the force between them when the two charges are located in air. It is because absolute permittivity of water is about 80 times as large as the absolute permittivity of free space. The force between two charges Q1 and Q2 located at a distance r each in a medium may be expressed as F medium equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Q1 Q2 divided by r square. Epsilon is called absolute permittivity of the medium. The equation 4 gives the force between the charges Q1 and Q2 when they are placed at a distance small r apart in a vacuum. Dividing equation 4 by 6, we have F vacuum divided by F medium equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by r square divided by 1 by 4 pi epsilon into Q1 Q2 divided by r square equals to epsilon divided by epsilon naught, which is equation 7. Ratio epsilon by epsilon naught is denoted by epsilon small r, called relative permittivity of the medium with respect to vacuum. It is also denoted by capital K, called dielectric constant of the medium. Therefore, equation 7 gives R or capital K equals to epsilon by epsilon naught equals to F vacuum divided by F medium. This is 8th equation. Now, thus relative permittivity of or dielectric constant of a medium may be defined as the ratio of the force between two charges placed at a certain distance apart in that medium, setting epsilon equals to epsilon naught epsilon r or epsilon naught or epsilon equals to epsilon naught k. In equation 6, we have F medium equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught epsilon r into q1 q2 divided by r square, or F medium equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught k into q1 q2 by r square. Let us discuss more about the Coulomb's law in vector form. Let us say there are two forces F12 and F21 by certain distance, having two charges q1 and q2 by small distance, that is by a distance r, small r. I am giving you a figure to understand. Consider that two like charges q1 and q2 are present at points capital A and capital B in vacuum at distance small r apart. The two charges will exert equal repulsive force on each other. Let capital F12 above that an arrow as a vector be the force on charge q1 due to charge q2, and F vector sign above it 21 will be the force on charge q2 due to charge q1 as shown in the figure. According to Coulomb's law, the magnitude of force on charge q1 and due to q2 in bracket or on charge q2 due to q1 is given by mod F12 vector sign above it equals to mod F21 arrow sign above it equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught equals to q1 q2 divided by r square. This is the 10th equation. Let r12 vector be a unit vector pointing from charge q1 to q2, and r21 vector a unit vector pointing from charge q2 to q1. As the force vector F12 is along the direction of unit vector r21, we have F12 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 divided by r square r21 vector. This is equation number 11. So as the force vector F21 is along the direction of unit vector r12, it follows that F21 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 divided by r square into r12 vector, which is the 12th equation. The equation 11 and 12 express Coulomb's law in vector forms. Now, importance of Coulomb's law in vector form. Coulomb's law in vector form is more informative than in its scalar form for the following reasons. Number 1, the vector from Coulomb's law straightening shows that the force F12 and F21 are equal and opposite. Since R12 and R2 vectors are unit vectors pointing in opposite direction, we have R21 vector equals to minus R12 vector. The equation 11 becomes F12 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 r square into minus r12 vector in equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q1 q2 divided by r square r12 vector. This is equation number 13. From the equation 12 and 13, it follows that vector F12 equals to minus F21 vector. Number 2, from Coulomb's law in vector form, it follows that the electrostatic force between the two charges is central force, that is, it acts along the line joining the two charges. From the equation 12 and 13, it follows that force experienced by one charge due to the other act in the direction of unit vector r12 or in the direction opposite that of r12. Since r12 is a vector along the line joining the two charges, the electrostatic force between the charges is a central force. Now note, in case the two charges are unlike, they will exert equal attraction forces on each other as shown in the figure below. Now capital F12 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by R square into unit vector R12, and F21 vector equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by R square unit vector R21. Now see the figure. Now it is important to know the Coulomb's law agrees with the Newton's third law. Now force between two charges in terms of their position vector. To express force between 2 point charges in terms of their position vector, consider a coordinate frame of reference OX, Y, Z. Suppose that the 2 point charges Q1 and Q2 are present in space at the points A and B, whose position vectors are OA equals to R1 equals to OB equals to R2 as shown in the figure. Join the two charges Q1 and Q2 by a straight line. If the distance between the two charges is denoted by R and R21 is a unit vector from charge Q2 to Q1, the force on charge Q1 due to Q2 is given by F12 vector equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R square R21 unit vector. The above equation can be rewritten as F12 equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 RQ R into R21 unit vector. This is the 15th equation. Triangle law of addition of vectors, we have vector OB plus BA vector equals to OA vector, or BA vector equals to OA vector minus OB vector, and R into R21 unit vector equals to R1 minus R2 vectors. Since BA vector equals to R into R21 unit vector, also R equals to mod R1 minus R2 vector. In equation 15, setting R21 equals to R1 minus R2 and R equals to R1 vector minus R2 vector mod. Now F12 vector equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 divided by mod R1 vector minus R2 vector to the power Q into R1 vector minus R2 vector. This is equation number 16. Similarly, it can be obtained that the force of charge Q2 due to Q1 is given by F21 vector equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 mod R2 minus R1 vector into R2 vector minus R1. This is equation number 17. A problem related to this. Coulomb's law for electrostatic force between the 2 point charges and Newton's law for gravitational force between two stationary point masses both have inverse square dependence on the distance between the charges or masses. Number A is compare the strength of this force by determining the ratio of their magnitudes. Number 1 for an electron and a proton, and number 2 for two protons. Now B, estimate the accelerations of electrons and a proton due to the electrical force of their mutual attraction when they are 1 ampere equals to 10 to power 10 meter apart. Now MP mass of proton equals to 1.67 into 10 to power minus 27 kg, and mass of MC equals to 9 into 0.11 into 10 to power minus 31 kg. Now solution A. Number 1, the electric force between an electron and a proton at a distance r apart is Fe equals to minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into E square divided by R square, where the positive sign indicates that the force is attractive. The corresponding gravitational force in bracket always attractive is Fg underneath equals to minus capital G MP into ME. divided by r square, where mp and me are the masses of proton and electron respectively. Now mod f electron divided by mod f g equals to e square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into g mp me, which becomes 2.4 into 10 to the power 30. Now number 2, on similar lines, the ratio of the magnitudes of electric force to the gravitational force between two protons at a distance r apart is mod fe divided by mod fg equals to e square divided by 4 pi epsilon naught g into mp into small me equals to 1.3 into 10 to the power 36. However, it may be mentioned here that the sign of the two forces are different. For two protons, the gravitational force is attractive in nature and the Coulomb's force is repulsive. The actual values of these forces between 2 points inside a nucleus in bracket distance between two protons is 10 minus 10 to the power 15 meter inside a nucleus, and Fe is 230 Newton approx, whereas Fg equals to minus 1.9 into 10 to the power minus 34 Newton. The dimensional ratio of the two forces that electrical forces are enormously stronger than the gravitational forces. Now B, the electric force F exerted by a proton on an electron is same magnitude to the force exerted by an electron on a proton. However, the masses of an electron and a proton are different. Thus, the magnitude of force is mod F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught E square divided by r square, which becomes 8.987 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 Coulomb square divided by 10 to the power minus 10 meter whole square, which is equals to 2.3 into 10 to the power minus 8 Newton. Using Newton's second law of motion, F equals to ma, the acceleration that an electron will undergoes is small a equals to 2.3 into 10 to the power minus 8 Newton divided by 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, which is equals to 2.5 into 10 to the power 22 meter per second square. Now comparing this with the value of acceleration due to gravity, we can conclude that the effect of gravitational field is negligible on the motion of electron and it undergoes very large acceleration under the action of Coulomb's force due to a proton. 2.3 into 10 to the power minus 8 Newton divided by 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg, which is equals to 1.4 into 10 to the power 19 meter per second square. Now problem 2. A charged metallic sphere A is suspended by a nylon thread. Another charged metallic sphere B held by an insulating handle is brought close to A such that distance between them is 10 cm as shown in the figure. The resulting repulsion of A is noted in bracket, for example, by shining a beam of light and measuring the reflection of its shadow on a screen. Now spheres A and B are touched by uncharged spheres C and D respectively as shown in the figure C and D, and then removed and B is brought closer to A to a distance of 5 cm between their centers as shown in figure of C. What is the expected repulsion of A on the basis of Coulomb's law? Sphere A and C and sphere B and D have identical sizes. Ignore the sizes of A and B in comparison to the separation between their centers. Now, solution of this problem: let the original charge of sphere A be Q and the on B be Q dash at a distance small r between their centers. The magnitude of the electrostatic force on each is given by capital F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q dash divided by r square. Now I am giving the figure. Neglecting the sizes of sphere A and B in comparison to small r, when an identical but unchanged sphere capital C touches capital A, the charge redistribute on capital A and capital C, and by symmetry each sphere carries a charge q by 2. Similarly, after D touches B, the redistribution charge on each is q dash by 2. Now if the separation between capital and capital B is halved, the magnitude of the electrostatic force on each is F dash equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q dash by 2 into q by 2 divided by r by 2 into square equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q dash divided by r square equals to capital F. Thus the electrostatic force on A due to B remains unchanged.